Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. There have been loads of informative posts and dev responses recently, and I want to talk about some more of them today. There's recently been a push towards Squadron 42 completion, emergent gameplay versus on-rails gameplay, what's happening with that, what's happening with Alpha 3.15's development, the next major patch after this one, and is the way that Cloud Imperium pick questions for their AMAs and live shows fair? Richard Tyree is now the Squadron 42 FPS game director. So, I saw this on Reddit. This is another of the Star Citizen senior big hitters that have been moved from, in this case, Star Citizen core gameplay director to Squadron 42 as the FPS game director there. So, we know that Chris Roberts is coming to the UK as well towards the end of the year, most likely for the foreseeable future as well, in order to finish out Squadron 42. So expect a big push over the next few quarters for that game. And hopefully we will start to see development updates when it's closer to release as well. And I think a lot of people argue that there should be more time put into Squadron 42 just finishing out as quickly as possible, bam, get that game out. That there should be more time going into Star Citizen, get gameplay loops, get that game finished. And that's where they're making most of the money, so focus on that, not Squadron 42. They're not mutually exclusive. They can do both. The core game of Star Citizen, once Squadron 42 is complete, well, that's the core of Star Citizen mostly complete, right? But there's a huge debate to be had there. I am looking forward to when both games are completed, and that is my very in-the-middle opinion there. There were various questions on Spectrum from backers that were answered by devs as well. Emergent gameplay or rail play? So the question here can be summarized with the original poster saying, there has been work in the development of events and other non-immersive, repeatable gameplay on rails. Will Star Citizen's gameplay structure be geared towards enhancing emergent gameplay experience, or focused towards enhancing a packaged on-rails experience, or both? Jake Acapella responded, the intent for dynamic events is to eventually have a library of the events that we can trigger anywhere, anytime. Additionally, the eventual goal is to have the economic simulation, Quantum, be able to trigger these based on social economic conditions of the verse. Dynamic events will also come in multiple flavors, such as mainly PvE Xenothreat or PvP Ninetales focused. This, in addition to player-driven missions and events, are going to fill out the verse with life and things to do and see. There was then a follow-up question on PvE Xenothreat and PvP Ninetales. Does that mean that PvP is not wanted and not allowed at Xenothreat, or does it mean that PvP is not the focus of the event, but Star Citizen, because it's an open PvP game, does that mean that, well, PvP is going to take place anywhere and we're aware of that? As I understand it, every event in Star Citizen is a PvP event, even if the focus of some events is more on the PvE interactions than others. It could be possible that if you label them PvE, you don't want PvP in PvE events, but if you do, you have to do more than what you are currently doing to prevent it from happening. Jake again responded, definitely the latter, though I'd advise caution going up against the Warhammer. So, these PvE events are mainly PvE or PvE orientated, but PvP is still going to occur, is what they're saying. It'll be interesting to see how in the future they gate some of this so it is more appropriate, because you don't want this sort of anarchy, you don't want mass PvP happening where they want to have very little, if no, PvP. I'm ripping a question out of the middle of another thread. Xylo, correct me if I'm wrong, but with staggered development, there is a team working on this patch, 3.14, and another patch, 3.15. So couldn't the devs of 3.15 appear inside Star Citizen during the hiatus and the downtime period? Xylo replied to this, it actually goes beyond just 3.15. A quick look at the progress tracker will show you there's folks who are currently working on 3.16 and beyond as well. I have seen the feedback that some would like to see that work, and I'd like to remind people that we are already showing a deal of it in the sprint reports, examples being Pyro, Nix, Outpost, etc. We don't feel it's productive to do full-blown segments on content that is multiple quarters out, because the team working on those features are, for a variety of reasons, simply not ready to present. So we opt to give visibility through sprint reports, in Inside Star Citizen, monthly reports, sneak peeks, etc. There was a interesting thread, the tyranny of looking for questions. When Cloud Imperium ask for questions that will then appear in sort of like a Spectrum thread or a forum thread, go, please drop your questions in here. You could almost pick the questions that are then asked based on timestamp instead of upvotes. This is partly because the original poster believes that people don't read past the first dozen or so replies. The original poster goes on to say, "Come on people, go find a comment made after the first half an hour of this week's pinned post you agree with and give it an update." So Zylo replied to this, "While popularity of a question does weigh in, that doesn't mean we don't look through the whole thread. Sometimes there's some gems below, and sometimes we even inject our own questions so that we can cover a topic we think the community will want to know. Regardless, thanks for the feedback." There was a follow-up question here as well. "You understand that by injecting your questions, you are manipulating the player base. It's called gaslighting. Are you proud of that?" Zylo responded, "I see it differently from you. To me, we strive to ask the most popular questions, which we do every week, pull some of the less popular ones that we feel that we have meaningful answers for, and inject some of our own to cover areas that the community may not have thought of, or things we know we have some good info to share with. From my perspective, this is a multifaceted approach that grants a diverse selection of questions. Now, there is a reoccurring issue where some of the popular questions are repeated across multiple shows. That's a tough one to solve, but we're brainstorming on how we can approach that. On one hand, we want to answer what a majority are voting on, but on the other, we don't want to take up time with repeating ourselves. There's been a lot of variables in there to consider. There are the votes coming from new players who haven't seen the answers before. Is the problem with discoverability with previous released answers? If so, how do you manage thousands of answers over the years? Does the early bird get the upvote? These are all types of questions that we're asking ourselves as we work out improvements. Overall, our goal is to make Q&As as productive and entertaining as possible, and we appreciate all the feedback shared here." So, I want to give a quick bit of feedback on there. Cloud Imperium are allowed to fully manipulate their audience as much as they want by producing whatever content they want. They produce lots of different shows. They can show whatever they want on those shows. They can produce whatever patches they want. They can release whatever content they want. It's not gaslighting their community to go, well, let's add some more own questions in here and ask some more own. I mean, you could argue that I would like to know whether that was a CIG inserted question or a community one. Yeah, maybe have a different colour for it. Maybe just add asked by Zylo or asked by Disco Lando by it or something like that. But I think that's totally fair for them to do that. There was another little follow-up here as well, basically saying Spectrum needs a downvote button so the community can help curate and sort of vet some of these questions a bit better. Currently, questions already answered get a huge amount of upvotes because they are posted early. We need the ability to counteract this and balance the early populism with the pragmatism that comes from being more educated on the matters at hand. So the answer there was exploring this. It's a complicated matter because brigading can happen either way, but we're actually discussing this currently. I find this all very interesting, so there is certainly a lot that goes on with this stuff. As long as interesting questions get answered, I'm sort of happy. I've had sort of like concerns before. Some people were annoyed at me because when I was asking questions on AMAs, they were getting upvoted to oblivion, and I get my question answered. Now, my questions I will get in almost immediately as an AMA goes live, or the ability opens, because I plan to go there, and my questions are typically pretty well constructed because I've constructed them over a few days. But I'll have you know that since I've stopped using my BoredGamer alias, which was the main issue some people had, that I get upvoted so much, I still get all my upvotes. So it might be time-based, or it might be that the questions are constructed well. That said, they're mostly questions that I've stolen from my community, so bear that in mind. They're not my own ideas. But I'm interested in what people think. Do you think there's problems with the AMAs, or isn't it really a problem that we should be solving, just asking more questions and getting more AMAs, and maybe getting people on threads that are moderators to signpost people when the question's already been answered? It's been answered here, here's a timecode, bam bam bam, something like that. Do you prefer emergent gameplay or railplay gameplay that's really well crafted, or a mixture of the two? And what do you think of Squadron 42 and a bit of a push towards getting that out the door? Potentially, hopefully, maybe. What about PvP versus PvE events? Do you think we should see more video content from Cloud Imperium and less of a 3-week, 4-week downtime with Inside Star Citizen? Give me more video content, that sort of stuff. What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Hey, I heard you like VPNs. How about NordVPN then? It's got things like security and features, and we all know chicks dig VPNs. Oh my god, is that Nord? Well, yes. Yes, it is. Wink. Check out the links below to get discounts, or go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. Maybe it will align your chakras or something. Actually, let's read some testimonials. Ever since I got NordVPN, my life is good. I wish I'd got NordVPN sooner. I didn't get NordVPN and now I've got no hands. I'm sorry that I recorded this as an ads in. I apologise to my editor. I said I wouldn't go too wacky. That's not what's happened here. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and for July it's for a Constellation Taurus with lifetime insurance and a Star Citizen game package. All you need to play! This long overdue, more cargo-focused version of the Constellation is going to be flyable in July. It's basically a new ship. Woo! Sort of. To be in for a chance of winning that, comment on any of my videos made during July, and each video gives you another chance to win, but only one comment is counted per video. More details down below. Please also consider supporting the channel further via the YouTube join button, or via Patreon, or donation, or whatever. It all helps us make Star Citizen content. Great Star Citizen content, hopefully, or at least some Star Citizen content. Also, you should bother the bell and like and subscribe and all that sort of jazz as well. Thanks for watching.